So I would like to introduce to you this special cells in our body called the germ cells and tell you why sex, reproduction relies on them and how do we make them. Well, for our species to continue, we need sex. And for us to perform sex, females and males need to produce sex cells. That is, obviously, eggs from the female, sperm from the male. But how does our body produce those cells? Well, to look at that question, let's take a step back and take a look at how we growed up in the first place. We all start here. This is our birth date 0 on the top. The union of an egg and the sperm form a one-cell fertilized egg. That one cell divide and grow to an early embryo, which is like a little ball of thousands of cells. And from there, cells begin to differentiate. Some cells becomes our body parts, head, arms, legs. A special group of cells, they become germ cells in our body. And those germ cells exist in our body. And as we become sexually mature, germ cells are the only cells in our body that can produce sex cells. So the germ cells are the cells in our body that carry on the responsibility and enable us to repeat the cycle of life. But one important question remained, that is, from the ball to the early fetus, how do we decide which cells become other parts of our body, and how do we determine which cells are destined to become the germ cells? To study that question, we use the model organism called the Drosophila, the fruit flies, the little tiny guys you find in your garbage can if you forget to clean your garbage. These guys, surprisingly, fruit flies are 78% genetically similar to us. And the many biological processes, like sexual reproduction, works the same way as humans. So let's look at how flies determine their germ cells. This is how flies do it. A female fly lay an egg, and in the same time, she would put a special liquidy material called the germplasm in the rear end of the egg. And as the egg developed to a ball of thousands of cells, most of the cells in the front end will become other body parts. And only those cells in the rear, they contain germplasm in them, and they are destined to become germ cells and carry on the responsibility of producing the next generation. So we wonder, what is in that germplasm? And what makes it so powerful that it can determine a cell's fate to be germ cells? People looked at fly's egg and germ cell under microscope at 200-time magnification to see what it looks like, and then under 1,000-time magnification, at even 50,000-time magnification under electron microscope. And those germplasm appear as tiny little granular particles. And further analysis revealed that these particles are aggregates of two types of molecules: proteins and RNAs. RNAs are just small genetic messages. Well, what they're called are not important. What's important is what these molecules can do. What they can do is they can program an early stage embryo cell and tell them to become germ cells by turning on the germ cell formation genes in them. Aha. So this is how flies do it. A female fly lay an egg, and she put those germplasm molecules in the cells in the rear, and these molecules turn on the germ cell formation genes only in those cells and program them to become germ cells. While other cells, they don't contain the germplasm, so they become the normal body parts. It turns out, not just flies. Does that happen in humans too? Yes, but not only humans. from simple animals like earthworms, flies, frogs, to more complex mammals like mouse and humans, we all contain these molecules, and we all use them to determine the formation of germ cells. So these molecules are across the field of evolution. It's a very conserved mechanism for germ cell formation and for animal reproduction. In my lab at IUN, we further pursue the questions of what's exactly in that germplasm molecules? What exactly are those molecules? What are those RNAs, proteins? How do they work together? How do they interact in a cell for the cell to output the correct program? So the cell turn on the right gene and then turn off the wrong ones to become the germ cells so we can continue to exist. People also surprisingly found that these germplasm molecules are present in other types of stem cells and even in cancer cells. If we understand how germplasm works, can we even apply the knowledge to understand how cancer cells form, how other stem cells form, and potentially use our knowledge to cure cancer and genetically engineer stem cells to cure human disorders like germ cell-related infertility? That's all the, well, not all, but that's some of the outstanding questions I'm pursuing. So for you to take home, sex, reproduction relies on germ cells. Thank you.